Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm here today to curl some heavy ass weight. Let's get started. Listen, before we start this video, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's get it. For those who don't know me, my name is Brendan Todd. Squatted over 700 pounds. I've benched over 500 pounds numerous times. I've deadlifted over 750 pounds. Now, my strength journey has taken a couple different turns. I used to focus just on powerlifting. But this year in 2024, I wanted to be strong all over the place. I want to be the strongest there ever was. Because of my mission, I am in prep for a strict curl competition, and that's what we're going to be preparing for today. Now, just because you strict curl a lot doesn't mean you're the strongest person ever. But in powerlifting, you're limited to only 3 lifts: your squat, your bench, and your deadlift. If you squat, bench, and deadlift a lot, probably gets you almost 80% of the results you want. But I'm on a mission, the mission to be the strongest. So not only am I doing powerlifting, not only am I going to do a strict curl competition, I'm also in prep for a street lifting competition. That's where you do your max chin up and dip. And I'm in prep for a nationals strongman competition in September. I'm balancing my training right now to try to succeed in everything. You'd be surprised at the gains you can make if you can recover properly. Now with the strict curl, obviously it's not a dumbbell curl, so I warm up with some lighter dumbbells. Something light like maybe 65 pounds here. A strict curl competition works just like a powerlifting competition, except there's only one exercise you're doing, and that's the strict curl. So you get 3 attempts to get the heaviest strict curl possible. You know, the one with the heaviest curl within that weight class wins. Now your strict curl, what makes it a strict curl? Your upper back needs to be against the wall, your butt needs to be against the wall, and your feet can only be, I believe it's like 6 inches away from the wall, right? So you can't be out here like this, curling. And then as far as your head, I like to push my head against the wall, but I think you can have it like neutral, in like a neutral position. So you don't have to have your head back against the wall, but you can't be like, bring it down and up, right? So we're really trying to like put on, you know, some constraints to really make sure it's just your biceps curling the weight, not your back and doing like a reverse clean or something like that. The competition I'm doing has a bar similar to this, where the kind of W in the easy curl bar is, you know, it's at a greater angle. Some bars are just, it's very slight. I got this bar because I want to train a little bit closer in, and it has a greater angle away like that. I find it a lot more comfortable. If the bar is pretty straight, I have to go out farther for my arms, else it'll start bothering my elbow. But that angle, again, creates it so it's easy on the wrist, easy on the elbow. So this bar is 18 pounds, but that's too much math, so I just think of it as 15 pounds. So we got, between those 2 plates, that's 110, throw on 15, 125, really 128. Today I'm working up 5 sets of 2, RP 6, 7, 8, 9, RP 10. So I'm maxing out for my 2 rep max. A few weeks ago, I got 200 for 2. If I can tie that again, I would be super happy. If I get 205, that would be great. And depending on how it moves, maybe 210. With the strict curl, just like every other lift, what we want to do is create tension and stability on the parts of our body that are not supposed to move, so we can generate force on the parts of the body that are supposed to move, right? So if I don't have a good brace, even on a strict curl, and I lose my bracing, it's going to be hard to create stability and generate force in my biceps. So I take this as serious as any of my other lifts. So this is 170 basically. Felt pretty good. when you're training, and this, I think it happens to a lot of intermediate lifters. Once you're past the newbie gains, once the progress on your lift starts to slow down because you're no longer in like that new learning phase, learning how to actually do everything. And now it's actually building strength and actually building muscle. A lot of lifters will get super, especially powerlifters, they get super specific into powerlifting. Their whole identity is around how much they can lift in the big three. They get super frustrated, and a lot of these guys get very negative about everything they do. They're constantly comparing themselves to other people. When you're always comparing yourself to other people, first off, you don't live their life. They know nothing about you. They don't care about you. Why should you care about them? That's gonna be one. Two, yes, this is a sport. Yes, we're doing this for competition. But your whole life is not dependent on how much you do your big three. And I see it all the time, especially with those intermediate lifters. Their whole personality gets developed into this thing. Why did you start lifting? Was it to be the next big TikTok powerlifter? Or was it just to be bigger and stronger? If you set your standards to someone else's standards, then you're trying to compete in their game. I'm gonna try to compete in my own game. Not only do I wanna be a great powerlifter, I wanna be a great strict curler. I wanna be a great street lifter. I wanna be a great strongman. I wanna be a great person. And what eventually happens is that those people quit. They quit lifting altogether because they get so burnt out on competition, on caring about some other Joe Schmo, that they're like, you know what? I want to go do yoga or something like that. Nothing's wrong with yoga. And you're gonna be thinking back, you're like, shit, if I was just patient and I only cared about how I was progressing and how I was doing, you could have got so much more gains in the future. You could have progressed a lot farther. Probably maybe been one of the best if you just worried about your damn self. I think this is 175. You're gonna be on your phone while you train. You should be in the Sheets app looking at your program, or however you get your program. Don't be scrolling through Instagram worrying about other people, or I don't know, wasting time. So your strict curl, you're using less muscle mass. I'm using just my biceps, really. A squat, a bench, a deadlift. There's simple movements just like a strict curl, meaning it's not too complex. There's not a ton of coordination going on compared to something like a clean and jerk and snatch. But because you're using more muscle mass, because you can usually lift more weight, you don't need to take as many jumps, and you can usually take bigger jumps. It always depends on the person. But for my squat, if I'm gonna squat 700 pounds, I'm not gonna go one plate, a 25, two plates, 275, two plates and 25. Too many jumps, I'm gonna tire myself out. With something like a strict curl, I need to take smaller jumps. I can't just go from 170 to 190 to 210. The movement and the muscle, it needs to warm up a little bit and get the coordination down. Not only that, but also, that's part of my workout today. It's 5 sets of 2. I need to warm up / progress over 5 sets. These warm-up sets, it's like ascending sets. They're still working sets. You still gotta take them serious. You can't just be like, with the warm-up. We're going 185. I might be putting on too much chalk, but too many times do I see these lifters, they like dab their hand, and then they expect the chalk to hold the bar up. Don't be afraid to put a little chalk in your hands to lift. Especially if you're missing deadlifts on grip, and I look at your hands and you got no chalk on them. Speaking about grip, let me show you how to grip the bar on an easy curl bar when you're trying to curl for max strength. Basically, we want to change the lever angle. If the bar is in my fingertips, it's going to increase that lever arm and it's going to make it harder. The closer I can get the bar to my center of my palm or my wrist joint, the better, the easier the lift is going to be, all right? So if I'm grabbing the bar, I don't want to grab it like this in my fingertips. It's going to be very hard. I want to try to make it as deep as I possibly can. Get my skin in there, boom. This is a much more solid grip. And again, because of how the bar is curved, it's comfortable for me to get nice and close like that. If the bar is not as curved and you're using something like a straight bar, you might have to go out a little wider, but again, same principles apply. Get that bar as close to your wrist joint by putting it as deep in your palm as possible. It's gonna feel a lot more secure and it's gonna feel a lot better. All right, 185 for 2. Some of you might have seen, actually all of you should see my How to Bench 500 Pounds video. And in it you must be thinking, oh my God, this guy has been training for a very long time. And you would be correct. I've been training for like 11 years now, and I started when I was 13. So that means I'm 24 years old. My life has revolved around this. So if you're in it for like 2-3 years, and you're like, oh my God, this guy, you know, yeah, because he's probably been doing it since he was like a teenager, just like me. So be patient, put the time in, put the work in, fall in love with the process. Then you want to set goals. You want to have something to shoot for. But these goals are just to motivate you for the journey. That's not really what's getting you the gains. The journey's getting you the gains. By the way, all natural, all right? Really what helped me was when I was a baby, I was breastfed until I was 2 years old. So I got all those, you know, growth hormones from my mother. If you're having a hard time putting on weight, if you're having a hard time making progress in the gym, you're probably messing up the big 3. I'm gonna give you it in order of least important to most important. Third and least important thing is your training. Now, don't get me wrong, it's important, but compared to the other 2, it's not as important. Your training has to be smart. You have to be pushing yourself to progress. You gotta be working hard, right? You gotta get close to failure. You gotta tell your body, hey, I need to get stronger, right? So if you're working in like an RP5 on all your accessories, you're not giving a signal to your body that you need to get stronger. You need to be pushing close to failure. Doesn't mean you gotta go RP10 all the time, but close to failure. And you need to be able to recover from your training. Now the other 2 I'm gonna talk about allows you to recover from more training. That's why they're so damn important. It's all about the recovery. But if you come in here 7 days a week, 2 hours a day, and just work hard, anybody can do that, but not everybody's getting huge. What's the next one? Your nutrition. So how you're eating is gonna impact, you know, how you're gonna perform in the gym, how you're gonna feel in life. If you're in a slight calorie surplus to a major calorie surplus for you big boys out there, your body's in a very anabolic state. You're gonna feel very recovered, feel ready to go in the gym. If you're trying to lose weight and you're in a deficit, the quality of the nutrients are gonna be super important. If you're eating only 2,000 calories a day and you're trying to lose weight, get cut, get diced, get them bitches, you gotta make sure that the food you're eating is nutriently packed so your body feels ready to go, okay? So that's nutrition. Nutrition helps you recover more, helps you build the muscle, helps you keep muscle if you're in a deficit. Now the number one most important thing is your sleep. They've done studies about comparing people who sleep 6+ hours versus people who sleep like 4 or 5 hours. The injury risk in 4 or 5 hours is like, I don't know, 6-fold. It's crazy. You're not recovering, your cortisol's through the roof, your stress is probably through the roof too if you're not sleeping. Those are not conditions to get big in the gym. They're not conditions to perform well in the gym. You might be thinking, well, I'm built different. I only need 2 hours of sleep. No, dude. And even if you did only need 2 hours of sleep, think about the gains you would make if you slept a little bit more. Sleep is the number one most important thing. I would rather train 3 days a week and get good sleep every night of the week than train 5 days a week and get mediocre sleep every night of the week. The first guy is gonna get more from it than the second guy. Oh, well, that's easy for you to say. You're only 24 years old. You don't got kids. You're really good looking. Who knows? Whatever your excuse might be. If your lifestyle prevents you from getting good sleep, getting nutrition, being able to train hard, then you have to adjust your expectations. That's all. If you're a guy who's like, no, I'm only sleeping 4 hours a night, don't expect massive gains in every single lift after training 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. Still work hard, but adjust your expectations. We got 195 on the bar. For 2, here we go. Yes! All right, let's add 10 pounds and get that RP 10. Yes! Not too bad. I think I got it again. Two sets of 1, not too bad. More will be there in competition. A little biomechanics lesson here for you. Anatomy, I guess. All right, let's say this is my arm. Now, my bicep, nice peak there, but you can notice right here, there's a long tendon. So those first reps of the sets, very explosive, very fast, very powerful lifter. Long tendons tend to allow you to produce a little bit more power, a little bit more snap. A thicker muscle or a shorter tendon, so let's say my muscle went down like this, usually allows a lifter to kind of grind out the lift a little bit more. Now, does this matter? Does that mean you're not going to be as strong or stronger than someone else? Absolutely not. But it can impact the way you train. The other thing is, I would say my tendon is pretty far out on my forearm. If my tendon was attached closer to the actual elbow joint, I would have increased lever arm with the weight and probably be a little bit more difficult with someone like that. So again, does this matter? Does that mean you're not going to be strong? Absolutely not. It does not matter. But it will change how your lifts look and sometimes how you perform your lifts. I have longer tendons, very powerful for the first rep, but that does not always mean I'm going to be able to grind out a second rep. Oh. All right, let's clean this up. Like I said earlier, the strict curl is only one component of my training right now. Now we got squats and we got some yoke carries. Squat, bench, deadlifts, all three of those movements they're great for building up your strength. That's why they were chosen for competition. So it's not like those movements are bad, but if you just hyper-specify only those three movements and you don't bring up other aspects, that's what you're about, fine. But I think you can do those and you can get a lot stronger in other aspects too. I'm going to do low bar. I'm going to do, I think, 575. I'm only doing one set of 5. If your goal is, hey, listen, I just want to get stronger, there's plenty of different ways to do that. The squat, bench, and deadlift are 3 of the best ways. Here's the reason why. If you can perform them comfortably, right? You don't always have to do a low bar squat. You do like a safety bar squat. You don't have to do a bench. You could do a neutral grip press or a dumbbell press or a dip. But when you're using a barbell, you can easily track progress. You easily add a little bit each week. If you're trying to get stronger off of kettlebell swings, you can get strong, but it's very hard to track progress. It's It's very hard to progress the thing, overload the movement. Squat and bench and deadlift, very easy to overload. Now, I'm squatting, a powerlifting movement. It doesn't mean that powerlifting is the standard for strength. It's a great standard for powerlifting. You want to be strong, and if you're a strong powerlifter, you're a strong person. But it's not the standard for strength. It doesn't mean that standard automatically makes you stronger or the strongest compared to like a heavyweight Olympic weightlifter or a strongman who does not squat competitively. Powerlifting is a sport. That's what it is. It's just a sport, just like anything else, any other sport. If you make it your standard, if you compare everything to your power lifts, then a lot of times you're probably, you can, if that's your thing, like that's your love, great. But for a lot of people, that's not their only love. Get stronger in other avenues. Really focus on why you're actually in the gym, what you're actually trying to do. When I started when I was 13 years old, I wanted to be big, jacked, and strong. That was it. Bodybuilding was a way to get there. Powerlifting was a way to get there. What I'm doing now, trying to be great in multiple disciplines of strength sports, is another way to get there too. Find your way, find your standard, and get better at what you do. I'll give you a good example. I've deadlifted over 750 pounds. The first time I tried to pick up an Atlas stone, which for those who don't know, it's like you see in World's Strongest Man, it's just a big spherical concrete stone. I could barely pick up 293. It's a deadlifting movement. It's very difficult, very weird, cumbersome. I didn't develop that skill yet. So let's say you got a guy who I can deadlift 750 pounds and I have trouble picking up a 300-pound Atlas stone, but then there's this guy over here who picks up a 350-pound Atlas stone because he trains it all the time, but has trouble deadlifting 600 pounds. Who's stronger? Another key to success is surrounding yourself with good people. Nothing you do in life are you really ever going to be like a self-made man or it was only you who did this, unless I guess you live out in the woods with no one else around, right? We depend on other people to help us. So you gotta make sure that you're either friends with someone or you are in partnership with someone to help you, who cares about you and cares about your success. Just like the owner of this gym, just like the guy behind the camera right here. They really care about what they're doing. I help them, they help me, we both succeed. That's an important thing to consider when you're getting a coach and when you're finding people to lift with. If every time you go lift and your lifting partner is just like giving a lift off like that and they got no attitude, you have to motivate them to train, get yourself a new lifting partner. If you got a coach who's just copy and paste someone else's workout in, get yourself a new coach. They should be invested in your success, and the reason they're invested in your success is because they want to succeed too. Your success is their success. Yes, yes. Come on. Good. Come on, two more. Trust yourself. Good. Finish. Go. Very nice. Not too bad for a secondary squat day. So this yoke Y2 rack here at PWRBLD Gym weighs 180 pounds, I believe. So this right here is 360. The hardest part about farmer's carries or yoke walks is actually the pick. It's picking it up. Once you kind of get the walk down, it's not too bad. So for my warm up, I'm going to just pick it up. Nice. All right, that's it. 3 simple exercises, just a few sets for my workout today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoy all the PWRBLD TV videos that we put out. If you're interested in taking your training to the next level, I implore you to reach out and ask about coaching. It made a huge difference for me. It makes a huge difference for any athlete trying to take their strength to the next level. My name is Tank. If you're interested in working with me, please reach out to PWRBLD and let's do it. Also, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below if you got any questions and what you want to see next.